So there's a lot to unpack with this, and I know some Wilder fans are going to get a little irritated by what I say towards the end, but it is what it is because it has to be said. Now, here's the thing about it. Deontay Wilder claimed that he truly believes Tyson Fury cheated, and he very well may believe that. However, I hope that is not his sole focus. I hope that he does not believe that Tyson Fury only beat him because he did cheat. The only reason why I'm saying that is if he goes in with that mentality, thinking that the only reason why he lost is because Tyson Fury is a cheater, then he very well could get stopped again. He very well could get schooled again. He very well could get beat again. And he's looking for a different outcome. And I know Wilder fans are definitely looking for a different outcome than what happened in that second fight in the rematch. So I don't like the mentality of him saying that he does believe he cheated because I just feel that when it comes to training, you may not train as hard. You may not go like you should be going because at the end of the day, in the back of your mind, you feel that you are better than this person. The only reason why they bested you was just because they cheated. So that's why it's concerning to me to hear him say that. Now, the videos that we have seen, it looks like he has been training extremely hard, which has got me questioning how the outcome of this fight is actually going to turn out. Because, like I said before, all Wilder's got to do is increase by about 30%. And I think his natural God-gifted abilities will overwhelm Tyson Fury's skill. Because whether people want to admit to it or not, whether they want to believe it or not, God-gifted athletes can beat a guy who is skilled as long as they are close in skill. They don't have to be as skilled, but if they're close, their God-given attributes will overtake the rest of it. So that's the thing about it. When I look at Deontay Wilder again, I see a guy who is much faster, much more explosive. He's got a lot more punching power if you're going blow by blow. However, he has been lacking the technical ability to really exploit all his strengths. He hasn't been able to do it. He's been exploited for all his weaknesses. And that's what Tyson Fury did to him. So again, I believe that a guy who is as naturally gifted as Deontay Wilder is, comes in with the idea that he lost because he was beat. That's how he was doing in training to get better, to be the guy who was better than him, not to be the guy who was cheating him, then I think that he has a very strong chance. He also says that he's been training this whole time, this 20 months, no layoffs, almost 2 years, no layoffs. That's good. And it was also good that he said that they have not been going hard every single day, that they're not overtraining him. I hope that is true because overtraining is real. And if you train too hard, you train too much on fight night, it will reflect and you will not look as good as you did. So you got to be careful with overtraining. You don't want to do it. You can make yourself worse training too much. As far as Tyson Fury goes, him claiming that he doesn't do 12-week camps, that he only needs about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. This is what it comes to. This is my problem with Fury, and this is what I was saying before. To me, he is a part-time fighter. He can lay around, lounge around, no edits, lounge around and do nothing. And he's one of them guys who is skilled enough, got the boxing IQ to do it to where he can just get off the couch, go in there and win. Thing about it is, eventually that catches up to you. Will it catch up to him in this fight? I don't know. There was a huge skill gap in between Fury and Wilder. In the first fight, you could see that Tyson Fury was moving around the ring easily. Wilder was having a lot of issues trying to find range to connect. They called it a draw. I have my opinion. Other people had their opinions about whether Fury was knocked out or not. It's irrelevant. It was a draw. Moving to the next fight, we see Tyson Fury move forward. And this is where we really saw the skill gap. It's a lot to overcome. Can it be done? Yes, I've said it before, made several videos. It can definitely be overcome. But again, I have to come back to with as much of a lead as Tyson Fury has on Deontay Wilder, it all comes down to this part-time fighter thing. And that's my problem. Like I said, when I saw him in them videos at the beach, running, he looked like a manatee. He looked like a beach manatee, and that's not good. You cannot constantly let your body get so out of shape that you are out of shape. that if somebody ran up on you, another boxer, and tried to fight you at the beach, you would be exhausted after 2 minutes of fighting when you should be able to go 36. Now, granted, with bare knuckles, it never goes that long, but I'm just saying in general, you should have the endurance year round to at least be able to go a 12-round fight. You should never get so out of shape that you would get winded. And he looked like he was getting winded just running to the water, back to his home where manatees live. So again, there will come a point in time, especially as Tyson Fury ages, because what causes athletes to age accelerated is when they get older and they don't stay actively training in whatever said sport they perform in. It gets harder and harder to get back into shape as you get older. You can't do the same things like you did when you were young. So if you let too much of a gap go, it becomes double as hard, triple as hard, quadruple as hard to get back into shape. And this is where part-time fighters can suffer. Tyson Fury is getting older. Now, supposedly, Deontay Wilder is older than Tyson Fury. However, I have my doubts to Tyson Fury's real age. I think Tyson Fury was 32, 33 years old about 7 years ago when he had hair. That's just, I understand that he did cocaine and drugs can age you very badly. But again, I question how old he really is. That's my personal opinion. Nobody has to agree with me. But if I am correct and he's got a Luis Ortiz age, meaning not real, I don't know how well him being a part-time fighter will behoove him going forward. And that's the thing. I have seen Wilder train. And like Malik Scott said, Malik Scott wasn't there to teach him new tricks. Malik Scott was to take the tricks he already knew and make it muscle memory. Which, the more I hear Malik Scott talk, the more I like how he sounds as a trainer. I really do. I like how he sounds as a trainer. Because to me, he's doing what a trainer should do. You got to know what you have in front of you. You can't turn a guy like Deontay Wilder into a Pernell Whitaker. I believe that's who he mentioned in this conference. You can't do that. But what you can do is you can take what Wilder does good and make him do it great. And that's the thing about it. You have to know what your fighter or the person that you want to train as a fighter, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. You can improve on their weaknesses, but you need to focus on what they're best at, because that's what they're going to revert back to at the end of the day. So if you can make them revert back to things that they had in that toolbox that they never used just because they relied, say, on the right hand like Wilder, well, now you got a guy who can fight, because now he's going back to muscle memory. Now he can throw them combos. Now he can slip. Now he can parry. And I do like the fact that Malik was saying that he doesn't want him to catch punches. I always thought catching punches was stupid because it does two things. One, it causes the guy throwing the punch to have less exhaustion. See, it saps you of energy more when you miss than when you land on a target. When you catch, they're landing on your mitt. Target successfully hit. Less energy wasted. Thank you. You just helped them. Secondly, if you catch and it's with a high guard, where you're like blocking, it can be the same as blocking. It can cause their power to transfer into your glove, which if you're catching close enough to your face, it can transfer to your face. If you block, when they hit your glove and your glove presses against your face from the impact of their punch, you are taking some of the impact. So I do like the fact that Malik is focusing on parrying, getting out the way, bobbing, weaving, dipping. And I do agree, Deontay Wilder's not too tall to dip. He just doesn't need to bend at the waist. He needs to bend at the legs if he's going to dip, because he's short in this fight. He is the shorter man. It's not like he's fighting Anthony Joshua, who's shorter than him. It's not like he's fighting Dillian White, who's shorter than him. It's not like he's fighting Usyk, who's shorter than him. Then it would be dumb for him to duck. However, against a guy who's taller than you, longer than you, ducking is a very useful tool. So there's a lot of things when I listen to Malik talk that I agree with, that I think that he may very well be that guy for Deontay Wilder. Now, the thing is, things can sound good, but will they look good? We won't know till fight night. But from what I hear, he's talking a good game, Malik. Now, I do like the fact that Deontay Wilder did speak. I do like the fact that Deontay Wilder did say that he truthfully believes that Tyson Fury cheated, even though I disagree and I think it's the wrong mentality. At least this time, he said, I do believe it. I do. I know things behind the scenes. He didn't disclose what that is, but he gave you a small glimpse of why he believes what he believes without saying it. So it's good that he actually talked. It's good that he actually addressed it, because before it was just being straight ignored. So I like that. But here's the thing that's, much as I've said about Wilder right here, that's really going to rub people the wrong way who are Wilder fans that have made it this far. Tyson Fury. If I was you, I would be very worried about, even though he's never done it, and I'll come back to this after I say this, because I'm not trying to say Deontay Wilder is a cheater, but there's something that concerns me that I'm going to say. His shirt, translated, eye for an eye. Now, when I hear eye for an eye, I think, if you think I put something in my gloves, you're going to put something in your gloves. If you think I've done steroids in the past, you're going to do steroids now. You're going to get an eye for an eye. You're going to do exactly what you think I did back to me. That to me is an eye for an eye, and that is concerning. So I'm going to say this. Deontay Wilder has never came off as a cheater to me. He's never came off as a guy who has cheated to me. His build has always been very thin. He's always been undersized, in my opinion, which he could be on PEDs. But looking at how small his frame was for his height, to me, is highly unlikely. To me, the injuries that I've seen him suffer lead me to believe that he is, and always has been, a natural fighter just because of the type of injuries. Whereas if he was enhanced, he probably wouldn't have separated his bicep from his bone, because the muscle would have been stronger. It would have been a lot better woven, because that's pretty much what muscle is scar tissue that weaves over itself and gets bigger and stronger. And when you're enhanced, you tend to get, we'll say steroids, you tend to get tendon ligament injuries, but you don't really see muscle injuries as much. It can happen, but it's a lot more rare. And normally when it does happen, it's due to lifting weight that's way too much. And again, normally it's not the muscle that tears, it's the tendons or the ligaments that separate, because you've gone past the strength of them, because your muscle's that strong. It's too strong, and it separates. One of them gives way, whether it's the muscle separating or the bone separating, ligaments and tendons. However it goes, it's because the muscle becomes too strong. Its strength increases so quickly that the tendons and ligaments can't catch up. And then the other part of that is, when you're on the juice, your muscles crave all that water. Muscles 80% water, so it's leaching water out of everything. Your tendons, ligaments, think of them like a rubber band. What happens when you dry out a rubber band? You pull it back, it pops. So again, because of the type of injuries I've seen him suffer, and them being muscular and not tendon or ligament issues, everything about Deontay Wilder leads me to believe that he has been clean this whole time. But again, when I hear eye for an eye, I think back, maybe he's going to do something different, because he truly believes you cheated him, so he's going to cheat you the same way you cheated him. Now, if Tyson Fury really cheated him, it'd be all as fair, in my opinion. But if Fury didn't cheat him, then it's not fair. So my point is this. If I was Fury's team, if I was Tyson Fury, I would have my dad stay in Wilder's locker room and never leave till he walks out to the ring. I would not take my eyes off them wraps. I would not take my eyes off them gloves once they are on, because eye for an eye, again, I would be concerned that now Wilder is going to try to stack his gloves, stack his wraps to make it fair. You did it to me, now I'm going to do it to you, eye for an eye. That's what I would be worried about. That's what I would be most concerned about with seeing that. So again, I'm not saying Deontay Wilder would do that. I'm just saying, to me, it is a concern that I would do, and vice versa. For Deontay Wilder, I would have if you need Malik Scott with you while you're warming up, then keep him there. But I would get somebody that you truly trust, not JD's. He's already proven that if the gloves were loaded, which I don't believe any of the glove gate, but if it happened underneath his watch. So you do not want him back in there. You want somebody in Tyson Fury's locker room who's not going to leave. Not going to leave. Does not matter what Fury's team says. They are not going to leave until he walks out to the ring. They're going to keep them eyes on them wraps and on them gloves at all times. No funny business. Once they're put on, once they're signed, that's it. So for both sides, that's what I would do. And like I said, I'm not saying that Wilder would cheat or needs to cheat. I'm just saying that when I hear eye for an eye, that's what comes to my mind. That you're going to do everything that I did to you back to me. So again, Wilder fans, if you made it this far, let me know if I'm off base or let me know if you think I have a valid concern, because I think it's a valid concern just by that statement alone. Now, I'm not going to do a breakdown to this fight because I want to see what Deontay Wilder looks like on the scale, and I want to see what Tyson Fury looks like on the scale, because to me, Tyson Fury looks lighter. Tyson Fury looks around, I would say probably a good 264-ish. So he looks lighter to me, and Deontay Wilder looks heavier to me. I think he's around 235, 237. 235, 237, I think, is where Deontay Wilder's at right now. But I won't know till they get on the scale and we hear their weight. Then I will do a real prediction breakdown of this. And this is very hard because it's been so long, because this would have been easy if they just would have rolled right into the trilogy. But me knowing the type of trainer that Deontay Wilder has done, it's hard for me to pick Tyson Fury again, because I always come back to part-time fighter. Fighting a guy who has been training like a madman. Fighting a guy who wants you bad enough that he took you to litigations. That's the whole reason why they had the arbitrations, because he wanted this that bad. There was no step-aside money, and even if I guarantee you, if Tyson Fury would have offered him $20, $30, $40 million so he could afford AJ, Wilder would have turned it down, because in my opinion, this isn't about the money. This is about get back, and that's what Wilder wants to do, which is a great mentality to have. So that's why when people were saying that he was scared, I disagreed with that. I didn't think he was scared at all. I just thought that he didn't want to answer questions about the excuses because he really doesn't have an answer. But, however, in this, he did bring up that he believes what was said. So I can't talk badly about somebody truly believing something, whether it happened or not. They believe it. So if they believe it deep down in their heart and their soul, then it is what it is. They could be right. They could be wrong. None of us truly know, because none of us was there in either locker room. So again, I like this. And I will say this. At the very end, when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury had their back and forth, when Deontay Wilder brought up, well, if you saying that, why did I change trainers? Why did I do all of this? If I'm not worried about you, well, why did you do it? From fight 1 to fight 2. Why did you do it? Why did you change everything? And that, to me, is when this whole thing shifted. I think, truthfully, Deontay Wilder got the better of this. I really do. I think he got the better of this conference. I probably should have went live because this is very long. But in my opinion, at the very end, Tyson Fury was winning the whole thing up to the end. And then there was the Hail Mary, and it landed in the touchdown, and Deontay Wilder scored. Because at the end, that's why I picked the picture that I picked with Deontay Wilder smiling real big. He looks at ease. He looks at peace with himself with what happened, and he looks like he's ready to do whatever he's going to do or attempt to do. Now, I'm not saying that's going to translate into him winning, but I think he's ready, and I don't see any fear. And if anything, I think at the very end when Wilder made the statement that he made, Fury was the one coming up short. Fury was the one that really didn't have a response. Although it wasn't the answer to the question that he asked, and it was kind of a question to answer a question, it still looked like to me it made Tyson Fury uneasy. And that's how I see it. So let me know what y'all think. That's my breakdown from this press conference. Come Friday night, I got y'all. We're going to do the prediction. Right now, I'm 1-0 on the new record. The old record, I think I'd be 70-9, which is a great record. But on these that I'm going to be putting underneath the channel so people can reflect back to every single one that I've done. So when they hear these high numbers of how many I get right, how little I get wrong, they can actually go to the playlist and play every single one. Because I'm going to be honest with y'all, I don't have the time to look up every prediction I've done because I've done so many. So this is why I started anew. It's scary starting anew, especially with a fight like this, because honestly, before I even do my breakdown, I don't know how this one's going to go. And I can tell y'all, as crazy as it sounds, because I was confident Tyson Fury was going to beat Deontay Wilder in the trilogy had it happened back to back. 20 months later, I'm going to tell y'all, there is a part in the back of my mind that is leaning heavily towards Deontay Wilder in this fight. As crazy as it sounds, as bad as we saw him get beat up in the rematch, I know what it's like to see a man who's got nothing to lose, and he's coming in there to take everything back. Like, this is what he wants. He wants his get back, and he's going to do everything he can to get it. I know Deontay Wilder's been missing Sophia, and I'm telling you, it's a dangerous fight now. It just turned real dangerous because, in my opinion, I don't think Wilder's career is over if he loses this fight. He could still fight Anthony Joshua. He could still fight Dillian White. He could still fight Joe Joyce. There's a lot of big fights out there that he could still make that a lot of people would watch because a lot of people have been wanting to see him in there with the toughest competition, and he really hasn't fought the toughest competition. So whether he has a belt or not, if he wants to continue fighting, he can make big numbers fighting other top guys, even without a title. So to me, this isn't the end of the road for him, but for him, in his mind, he wants this win. And that's a dangerous person. And Tyson Fury, I don't know if he's been taking this as serious as Wilder has. And that could be all the difference. Heart is a motherfucker. And when somebody's got more heart than you and they got more drive than you, it can take your skill right out the fucking window. So let me know what y'all think in this comment section. I know this was long drawn out. I didn't talk as much about Tyson Fury because we already know a lot about Tyson Fury. This was more Deontay Wilder based. But if you made it to this end, don't forget, hit that thumbs up, sub notification bell. But there's a part of me that when I do this breakdown, when I do this prediction, when I see how they look on the scale, that's already leaning towards Deontay Wilder, which is the complete 180 from what I picked before. So I'm not saying I'm going to pick him. I'm not saying I'm going to go against Fury. I'm just saying at the moment, I want y'all to know that regardless who I pick, I can see Deontay Wilder beating Tyson Fury. And not only can I see him beating Tyson Fury, I could see him hurting him and doing the unbelievable. And that's outboxing him. I can see it. And it sounds crazy. Just like it sounds crazy whenever I made my prediction about how Usyk was going to beat AJ. And he did it. He implemented it. Now, he didn't do as many barrages as I would have liked him to do, as I said. But in the 12th round, he did. And he damn near knocked AJ out when he fought. Like I said, he should have fought from round one. But other than that, he did everything that I said he would do and did it the way I said he would do it. And I'm telling y'all, from as many as I've got right, and I'm going to end it here because this is just dragging on. It's probably like a 20-minute video. I'm telling y'all, I'm seeing something right now that I see. I guess you could call it seeing their aura. I can see an aura of confidence around Deontay Wilder, and I see an aura of unsureness over Tyson Fury. That's all I'm saying right now. Breakdown will be coming soon on Friday. Y'all have a good night.